New Pieces at the Lyceum by Charles Lamb. A plot has broke out at this theatre. Some quarrel has been breeding between the male and female performers, and the women have determined to set up for themselves. 7 of them, belles without bow they call themselves, have undertaken to get up a piece without any assistance from the PG 223 men, and in our opinion, have established their point most successfully. There is Miss Carroll with her silvery tones, and Miss Stevenson with her delicious mixture of the schoolgirl and the waiting-maid, and Miss Kelly sure to be first in any mischief, and Mrs. Chatterley with some of the best acting we have ever witnessed, and Miss Love, worthy of the name, and Mrs. Grove that rhymes to her, and Mrs. Richardson, who might in charity have been allowed somewhat a larger portion of the dialogue. The effect was enchanting. We mean, for once. We do not want to encourage these Amazonian vanities. Once or twice, we long to have wrench bustling among them. A lady who sate near us was observed to gape for want of variety. To us, it was delicate quintessence, an apple pie made all of quinces. We remember poor Holcroft's last comedy, which positively died from the opposite excess. It was choked up with men and perished from a redundancy of male population. It had 9 principal men characters in it, and but 1 woman, and she of no very ambiguous character. Mrs. Harlowe, to do the part justice, chose to play it in scarlet. We did not know Mrs. Chatterley's merits before. She plays, with downright sterling good acting, a prude who is to be convinced out of her prudery by Miss Kelly's. We did not catch her stage name, assumption of the dress and character of a brother of 17, who makes the prettiest unalarming platonic approaches, and in the shyest mask of moral battery, no one step of which you can detect, or say this is decidedly going too far, vanquishes at last the ice of her scruples, brings her into an infinite scrape, and then, with her own infinite good humor, sets all to right, and brings her safe out of it again with an explanation. Mrs. Chatterley's embarrassments were masterly. Miss Stevenson, her maid's start at surprising a youth in her mistress's closet at midnight, was quite as good. Miss Kelly we do not care to say anything about, because we have been accused of flattering her. The truth is, this lady puts so much intelligence and good sense into every part which she plays, that there is no expressing an honest sense of her merits without incurring a suspicion of that sort. But what have we to gain by praising Miss Kelly? Altogether, this little feminine republic, this provoking experiment, went off most smoothly. What a nice world it PG 224 would be, we sometimes think, all women. But then we are afraid we slip in a fallacy unawares into the hypothesis. We somehow edge in the idea of ourselves as spectators or something among them. We saw Wilkinson after it in Walk for a Wager. What a picture of forlorn hope, of abject orphan destitution. He seems to have no friends in the world but his legs, and he plies them accordingly. He goes walking on like a perpetual motion. His continual ambulatory presence performs the part of a Greek chorus. He is the walking gentleman of the piece, a peripatetic that would make a stoic laugh. He made us cry. His muffing cap in Amateurs and Actors is just such another piece of acting. We have seen charity boys, both of St. Clement's and Farringdon without, looking just as old, ground down out of all semblance of youth, by abject and hopeless neglect. You cannot guess their age between 15 and 50. If Mr. Peake is the author of these pieces, he has no reason to be piqued at their reception. We must apologize for an oversight in our last week's article. The allusion made to Mr. Kean's acting of Luke in The City, Madam, was totally inapplicable to the part and to the play. We were thinking of his performance of the concluding scenes of The New Way to Pay Old Debts. We confounded one of Massinger's strange heroes with the other. It was Sir Giles Overreach we meant, nor are we sure that our remark was just, even with this explanation. When we consider the intense tone in which Mr. Kean thinks it proper, and he is quite as likely to be in the right as his blundering critic, to pitch the temperament of that monstrous character from the beginning, it follows, but logically and naturally, that where the wild, uncontrollable man comes to be baffled of his purpose, his passions should assume a frenzied manner, which it was altogether absurd to expect should be the same with the manner of the cautious and self-restraining Cantwell, even when he breaks loose from all bonds in the agony of his final exposure. We never felt more strongly the good sense of the saying, "Comparisons are odious." They betray us not seldom into bitter errors of judgment, and sometimes, as in the present instance, into absolute matter-of-fact blunders, but we have recanted. Page 225.